Hi everybody, Brian McNichols here from touringplans.com. I am trying to figure out how to flip myself around here, and I don't remember how to do it. Oh boy. Oh well, I might just have to be backwards. The reason I was trying to turn myself around, because obviously I have, shirts around me, and I would like to talk about them for a minute because we have decided to sell some additional shirts, and I can't, oh, there it is. Is that it? Yeah, no, that wasn't it. That was flipping my camera around. Okay, I'm not going to play with it anymore. Now that people are actually watching, I'm going to stop playing with it. So, what I was saying, for those of you watching this live, there's some of you already here. This is why I also started a few minutes late, because I was trying. There used to be a way, as of like 2 weeks ago, there was a way that you could invert the image so that even though I'm using the front-facing camera, hi Tom, I have a question from you already on my notes to answer from before. So that everything would look the right way instead of the mirror image that you're seeing. But I can't seem to find that, and I don't want to necessarily keep playing with everything, so I won't. Anyway, so the reason I was trying to flip myself around here is because we have decided to sell a few new t-shirts. The easiest way, honestly, to find them, I had linked to it in my news post from yesterday, so if you're on Facebook, scroll down. If you're on YouTube, look for that. I will also post a link to it definitely on YouTube, and I will try to remember at the end of this chat to post one at the bottom. But it is a Zazzle store, so if you go to Zazzle.com, you can always search for touring plans. And the three new touring plans-based shirts we have are the one that I'm wearing, which is backwards, because I, again, can't figure out how to invert the screen anymore. And it says, "I don't wait in lines." And it's got this nice touring. I don't know why I'm still talking. I'm away from the microphone. A nice little Touring Plans logo. Got this nice gray one here. This is just a simple logo. It says Touring Plans. I was wearing that for my news video yesterday. I like that one. This is the back of the shirt. It says, "Follow me. I'm using a touring plan." I wish I didn't have to read these. I wish I could. Facebook used to let me invert it. And then on the front side of this one is the normal circle T there. Circle T that you used to seeing. So, let's get into answering questions. I have some that people had posted me. Thanks, David. I had some that people had posted earlier. Anybody watching, of course, you can always add any comments or questions as we go. The first thing I want to talk about, honestly, is gondolas, because I'm obsessed with them right now. I don't know if anybody missed it. I posted a YouTube video by the manufacturer of the Disney World gondolas. Okay, I guess I should back up for those that maybe missed it. Disney World is apparently building a gondola system. Think like a skyway, kind of like they used to have, crossed with like a cable car. So it's like cable car looking cars, but it moves and operates kind of like a skyway. It's not official yet. Sandra, I don't remember how to say her last name right now. I can't either, Patty. Orlando Sentinel broke it. People had found the plans a while ago, but there was a lot of plans that don't always come into existence. The Orlando Sentinel broke was they had basically got confirmation from an Imagineer that they were having these planning meetings and these advanced meetings for a secret project that is also referred to as Gondola. So it looks like this is almost definitely happening. Patty points out that it will make Caribbean Beach more popular. I think it will, and I think that's going to end up being a Disney Vacation Club moderate, which is what Jim Hill has been saying for years now. So it's going to connect basically Caribbean Beach, Pop Century / Art of Animation with Hollywood Studios and Epcot, it looks like. I posted a video on Facebook and on Twitter from the manufacturer. It's a system in London that goes over the river in London that is basically the same thing, same size cars, 10-person cars, that's what they're going to be, by the same manufacturer. So you can kind of get an idea, you can really see how it works. Because one of the things people have been asking about a lot is whether these gondolas will be able to support the numbers of people that they do. So here's what I did. I ran some numbers. They'll hold 10 people. We know that for sure. According to the manufacturer, the frequency can range as low as 12 seconds per car. So you can unload, load, and dispatch a new cable car thing, it's a gondola, in 12 seconds. I don't know if the Disney ones will be that fast. In the video that I posted, they show people putting bikes in there, strollers in there. So it apparently can be done. I don't know how fast the Emirates one is in London, so that would have been kind of nice to know. It may be in there. It's a German company. Everything on the YouTube page is in German. So at 12 seconds apiece, 10 people per car, that's 3,000 people an hour it can move. That's a lot. For the equivalency, that would be one bus load of people, a regular bus, not the super stretchy buses. A regular Disney World bus holds around 60 people. That's not exact because the standing room changes, but it's in the neighborhood of 60, and a nice round number is easier. So that would be 3,000 people an hour would be one bus leaving every 1 minute and 12 seconds, which is, for any of you who have been on a Disney bus, and I'm sure it's most, if not all of you, 1 minute and 12 seconds is a ridiculous number. If they knock the gondolas down to 30-second dispatches, that's 1,200 people an hour. That's still the equivalent of one bus every 5 minutes. And this is a continuous line. So if it's not that busy, you don't have to stand there and wait, which is a huge improvement. Now the downside, and I see David pointing this out, weather. I don't know what they're going to do. We get thunderstorms every afternoon in Central Florida all summer. There is no chance that they're going to run these things in the storms. Somebody commented on the Facebook posts about the London one, that even the one in London gets, and Keith asked about what that is in monorail units. I have no idea. I couldn't find in time what the capacity of the monorail was. So, but I did look, and I'll look for it. If I can find it, I'll probably do a blog post about this, because I find it interesting anyway, obviously. But the one in London apparently closes down pretty often for wind. So if wind is a problem, thunderstorms are certainly not going to be doable. It's just going to get too windy. Now, the one in London looks like it goes pretty high up, much higher than the one in Florida will have to. So I don't know if that's going to be a concern, but I think you're right. I think weather is going to be the issue here, because if they can't run it anytime there's a thunderstorm or high winds, they're still just going to end up running buses, which, I guess it's not that big a deal, but it'll be like the boat system when they can't run it because of lightning. I keep going light and dark here because of all the brightness behind me. See if we can stop that a little bit. But I decided to do my live out here because, I could hang the shirts, and it's a crappy day. Over the summer, I'll do more out here. But, all right, let's see. I got some other questions in here. Oh, Kate asked a question about park hours, which was actually something that Kathy had asked before. And I'm going to try not to look straight down into the microphone because I know it gets super loud. Sarah says the height of the gondolas will determine how often it will be affected by wind. Yeah, that makes sense. And they shouldn't have to be super high. They really only have to clear, whatever the minimums are for highway passage and things like that underneath. But yeah, and David also asked the furthest points. Like I said, the manufacturer, I didn't write it down. They said how fast they travel. It's like, I want to say 2 to 5 meters a second, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to try to stop talking about gondolas for a minute. But Kate asked about the park hours, and Kathy had asked also about if I think it's likely the Magic Kingdom will open at 8 a.m. on certain days during the summer in June. Yeah, definitely, especially on like Saturdays. They tend to open a lot of times at 8 a.m. They seem like they've been leaning towards, and I haven't actually analyzed the park hours in a little while, but they seem to be leaning towards going more 8 a.m.s rather than push the Magic Kingdom until like midnight or 1 a.m. In the morning. Of course, 1 a.m. is in the morning. But they, and I think they do that because just for staffing reasons. For whatever reason, I have a feeling they think it's probably easier to staff in the morning than it is that late at night. But we'll see soon. And Kathy's question that she had asked was about the August hours. That right now they have the Magic Kingdom closing at 9 p.m. a lot, and she asked if that would hold. It won't. The way Disney does park hours is they put out their basic set of hours about 6 months in advance, and they do that because they don't want to figure out the staffing until they absolutely have to. So then about 2 weeks before the start of a month, for instance, it is April 20th. I should have remembered that if I've been on Twitter at all today. But they just this week came out with the revised hours for May. So then they'll usually push it back by an hour or so. In fact, for the August hours that Kathy asked about, I think they put a lot of those at 10 p.m. already, which means that by July, some of those may push to 11. So we'll know in about 3 weeks or so whether the June hours will change and what they change to. But I would imagine starting by like mid to end of June, you'll start seeing some 8 a.m. openings. All right, I see a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to really try to be not so long-winded, which is a terribly hard thing for me to do. I saw somebody was leaving for Disney World very soon, and now I lost. Oh, Elizabeth, leaving for Disney in 12 hours. Great, that's exciting. I wish I was. You can see how dreary it is here in Pennsylvania, although it's warm, but still no fun. Todd asking about the gondolas and why they would invest so much when Tomorrowland and Future World needs to be overhauled. We still hear a ton of rumors, and even Disney saying that Epcot is on the list for major refurbishment. We just don't know what it is. But the reason it's infrastructure, and I'm kind of actually glad to see that they're looking at stuff like this, because anytime a resort like this starts growing, if the infrastructure doesn't hold up to it, that's why they use so many buses, is because when they expanded to Hollywood Studios and then Animal Kingdom, they just didn't really have everything set up. They didn't have them, they didn't want to put the money into a monorail system. They could extend the boat system to Hollywood Studios, things like that. But, this is kind of retrofitting some of that infrastructure into it, but I don't mind it as long as they don't keep ignoring Future World. Tomorrowland, I think they're going to keep ignoring for a while because it's just, they've done a lot to Magic Kingdom and they're going to be doing a lot. So I think Magic Kingdom might be done for a couple of years, unfortunately. David asked about free dining coming out next week, and this was Tom's question. Not free dining. Well, partially. He asked about a discount in February. I think, free dining. You would think would be announced pretty much any time. Let me look at Mouse Savers. Has a great. If you search for Mouse Savers historical discounts, they actually have a great page on not just what the discounts were, but when they were released. So let's see. Last year's free dining package was April 25th. So, yeah, sure looks like within a little bit of pretty soon here. And let's see, where was free dining was April 27th of 2015. So, yep, there you go. My guess would be, free dining is probably coming within the next week or two. Maybe within the next day or two, honestly. But what Tom's question was about February and whether I think there would be discounts in February. The answer is simply yes. There's been at least room discounts for every day of the calendar year for years now. It's one of the reasons that that we always tell people to research. Well, we tell people to research everything or let us research everything. But you can always get a room discount of some. Well, you can always find a room discount of some sort if you are booking at the right time. Last minute, the way Disney does their discounts is they basically set aside a certain number of rooms that are discounted. So if you're going to Polynesian, they have, say 200 rooms that are discount rooms. Once those are gone, they're just gone unless somebody cancels one. So you still have to book a little bit in advance, but every day of the calendar year has a discount. Last February's was 15 to 25%, this past February's was 15 to 25% on rooms, or they also had a play, stay, and dine. So I don't see why that wouldn't necessarily happen again next year. Christopher asked about Tron to Magic Kingdom. That is one of the new rumors, as much as I just said about Magic Kingdom not necessarily getting any love for the next few years. Jim Hill is saying that they want to put the Tron coaster from Shanghai Disneyland. I almost said Hong Kong, I guess same country, but that they want to put the Tron coaster where the Tomorrowland Speedway is now, and they want to do it for the 50th anniversary, which is 2021. That kind of makes sense in the timeline. UPS. That kind of makes sense in the timeline because you're talking 2017 this year. We have Pandora, the World of Avatar at Animal Kingdom, and we're only like 5 weeks away from that too. 2018, we have, I assume, Toy Story Land, although they still aren't really talking about that, which I find weird. 2019, we have Star Wars Land. We don't know anything further than that, but I don't think it's ridiculous to assume that maybe Epcot gets that 2020 spot, which then 2021, you would think then they'd be back at the Magic Kingdom, which again makes sense because that's the 50th anniversary. So I think if they are going to do it, we've got 4 years to wait for it, but we'll see. Todd says, do our crowd expectations for August already take into account the Pandora influx? Yes. All of our crowd projections from basically mid-May, which is when the annual pass previews start for Pandora, through the future, all include Pandora. It's odd, though. We've actually been seeing, and this won't come as a surprise to a lot of Avatar, I want to say haters, but I don't mean that. But people who aren't sure about how Avatar will fit into the park, the fast passes for it don't seem to be flying out the door like, say, the Frozen ones did. This could mean that people are just kind of waiting to see what happens. It could mean that people aren't necessarily planning vacations specifically to go there. It could mean nothing at all. It could just mean that we haven't even gotten to the 30-day window yet, which is for non-resort guests. So anyone with an annual pass, not staying on property, any locals, anything like that, can't even make fast passes yet. So it could be all of the above. But it also wouldn't be super surprising if it didn't really bump the crowds as much as they're hoping. I mean, they've already, internally, they're not expecting this to be like Harry Potter levels, even though outwardly I think that's what they're saying. But I don't think anybody expects it to be this crazy jump in attendance for Animal Kingdom. But yeah, we are trying to be very conservative on our estimates as far as crowds, meaning that we're trying to estimate to what we think the maximum could be, because it's, with all this stuff, it's always better to have to adjust downward than it is to surprise people and say, like, Disneyland in the spring got to be a lot busier than really ever has been. So we had to bump up some of our numbers, and we don't like doing that, and nobody likes it when it happens. So let's see. Rebecca asked about any Disneyland trips, missed the live walkthroughs. We actually, We're always in Disneyland. Well, Guy Selga is always in Disneyland. I will tap him on the shoulder and mention that maybe he should do some more live walkthroughs. He's been, as always, he's very busy with research stuff in the parks, and also he does a lot of stuff on our website as far as optimizing that too. So he is very busy, but I'm sure he can wander through the park holding his phone out. Oh, Scott says that the Diz, that's WDW Info, I think, said free dining is coming the 24th. That makes perfect sense, which is, what, Monday? Yeah, that's very possible. Does Disneyland do free dining packages? No, I don't think they do. And Disneyland discounts are not nearly what Walt Disney World are. Disneyland gets so many locals, so many regulars, annual pass holders, that I think they feel like they don't have to discount as much, and they don't. Like I said, their spring attendance was crazy. So they don't, and they only have the 3 hotels out there, and there's a ton of reasonably cheap hotels right outside the gates. In fact, I've never stayed at an official Disney hotel in Disneyland because they're crazy expensive. So they just don't do the discounts. Becca asked, I see, what is free dining? That's true, and point that out to me anytime I do that, because I try to explain what everything is on here, but I forget sometimes that people don't read about Disney stuff 24 hours a day. So free dining is basically, the Disney World has a few different levels of dining plans that include different types of meals. So the most common one, the standard dining plan, would include 1 table service meal, 1 quick service meal, and I believe it's 2 snacks per day, something like that. If you go to touring plans and look at our dining page, we have all about all the dining plans specifically. Free dining is a discount package where if you buy the tickets through Disney, or buy a package that includes tickets and a Disney resort hotel room, you will also get the dining plan included with it. The reason I use the little quotes around the free is because, or in the discount, I didn't even say, but never mind. Because like I said, you can get a room discount pretty much any day of the year, and so you really have to weigh whether the room discount or the dining plan, the included dining plan, is the better deal for you. If you were going to get a dining plan anyway, then free dining is probably a better deal. If you weren't necessarily going to get it, the room discount might be the better deal. It's just something that you kind of have to figure out, or use a travel agent. A good Disney travel agent will do all of this stuff for you and explain it all for you, which is one of the times that we do recommend them. None in particular, but I'm sure I know on our forums you can find lots about various travel agents, and we have a lot of touring plans users that are travel agents themselves. In fact, a few of our bloggers are as well. Yeah, Kathy points out that she just booked her 60 days for Pandora, and fast passes were plentiful. That's what we've been seeing too. David asked about any chance at all that you can get 2 fast passes for Animal Kingdom for Avatar. Well, that we'll have to see. The way the system is set up now is that you have to pick one of the 2 Pandora attractions. 2 attractions are Navi River Journey, which is a boat ride through the forest, an indoor forest that lights up, that has no height requirement whatsoever. The other one is Flight of Passage, which is kind of like Soarin', except you're riding on what is supposed to be a banshee, this beast. It's in 3D. A lot of stuff going on there, probably going to make me motion sick. But, so you have to choose one of those for one of your fast passes, and then you can get your other 2 fast passes for anything else. Kilimanjaro Safaris and Expedition Everest are the ones we often recommend. So to get 2 fast passes for Pandora, what you'd have to do is select one of the fast passes, Flight of Passage, say, and then either select the other two in the park or just select that one is fine. Go use that, and then immediately on the app, go and get an additional fast pass for, in this case, Navi River Journey. Whether that will be possible completely depends on how the availability of the fast passes. We still think the day of that they'll probably all be gone, at least through this summer. But if you're only looking for one fast pass, that definitely increases your chance. But I don't know. It's hard to say. That's one we're really gonna have to say. Wait until and see. That was not a sentence. We're really gonna have to wait and see when it opens, how busy these things are. It's just impossible to tell with this. I mean, their marketing has slowed down a lot. We hear they're going with a lot of word of mouth stuff for when the previews start. But once the previews start, we're talking it's already May. People have made their summer vacation plans. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know whether it will be popular at all, honestly. And if it's not, that's going to hurt, I think. Not me, but Disney. Let me see here. Somebody I know asked about what the shirts are behind me. Oh, there. Carrie, where can we order the shirts? Thank you. Yes, the shirts in the background here. This one, and I know it's backwards. I couldn't. You used to be able to flip you used to be able to invert the image when I'm using the front-facing camera on Facebook Live, and now you can't apparently, or they moved it and I can't find it. But yeah, this one says "Follow me." I'm using a touring plan. On the front, it has the circle T that you've seen so many times. This one here is just the basic white circle touring plans. Nothing on the back of that one. The one I am wearing is. I don't wait in lines with the T and the touring plans on back. These are all in our Zazzle store. I will try to remember to post a link after the chat and at the bottom here. I don't want to do it now because, one, it would get lost, and two, it would involve me not saying anything for 20 seconds because whenever I start typing, I forget to talk. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I will post a link. If you just go to Zazzle.com, search touring plans, yeah, you should be able to find them. There's a lot of stuff about lines, our app in there that I have to curate some of out of the way, but and Zazzle, the downside of Zazzle is that they tend to be a little pricier than if we were selling them directly, but the reason we did it is because this way they are customizable. You can get different colors, you can get different styles, you can get long sleeves, things like that. So. And it's just a little bit easier for us. We're not exactly set up to run a store. We don't have, as much as research as we actually get done, we don't actually have that many employees that work for touring plans. So our developers gave me very dirty looks when I asked about a store. So I'm not going to ask again for a while. But if we start selling a lot of shirts, then we can go back to it. And we're going to have some more not necessarily touring plans related shirts, just goofy Disney ones. One I thought up the other day that I have to do some sort of graphic when I was on one of my gondola thought experiments was the old Magic Kingdom Skyway and the ridiculously fun Patrick Swayze movie Roadhouse. I was going to make a My Way or the Skyway shirt, so I might be putting that up pretty soon. All right, where was I here? Oh, Jean says the sun is shining where she is in Pennsylvania. That is no fair. I'm in the Scranton area here, and it is miserable looking outside. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow, though, I think. Brian says he's going to Hollywood Studios at the end of May, early June 2018. Will Toy Story Land be completed? I don't know. I really haven't heard much about Toy Story Land other than that it's supposed to be 2018. My guess is that they're going, I think just in general, there are 2 times of a year Disney aims to open stuff, and that is right around Memorial Day, which is when Pandora's opening, or if it's going to be later in the year, by Thanksgiving. are the 2 times that they are kind of their deadlines. I imagine, since they've been working on Toy Story Land already for quite a while, that that they're going to shoot for Memorial Day. That's completely a guess, but I think it's probably real likely that it will be there. Brianna asked if we are hiring. We are not. I'm sorry. We are fairly happy with where we are now. We're trying out some new stuff, but no. Jean asked about the Splash Mountain's 3-month closure. Was she the one? Yes, she is. That asked on my post earlier today. I have that on my list, but no, I did not get to it. Splash Mountain is closing for refurbishment August 28th through November 16th. So we're talking almost 3 months it's going to be down. We don't know exactly why. What I think it is Splash Mountain used to close almost every year, actually, in January for 2 or 3 weeks. And and this is something that Jim Hill always talks about with any ride that combines animatronics and water. They get damaged a lot by all the water and the splashing, and that's why a lot of times you'll see people post on Twitter and that people riding through Splash Mountain, not all the animatronics are working, and that's why. And that's also why they used to do this yearly refurb. We haven't been doing it lately. Assume because the attendance hasn't been dipping in January where it used to. So I'm thinking maybe this is just for a really good cleaning and to fix all the animatronics in there. 3 months is a long time, so I don't know. I haven't heard that they're plussing it or adding anything new into it, but we don't know yet. The closure was really just announced within the last day or two. So, although there's been rumors about it for a little while, but yeah. So unfortunately, September, October, early November, no Splash Mountain. Let's see. Sean asked about them delaying the Splash Mountain because he arrives August 28th. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. I've gotten lucky, actually, before, I think in Disneyland, where they've delayed a refurb, 2 weeks, and it's exactly when I'm traveling, but it doesn't always happen. Christy asked if we know if Haunted Mansion will be having another refurb. They haven't said anything yet. I doubt it. I don't think, unless there's something that goes wrong, I don't think they're going to take it down again for like Thanksgiving week. But I don't know why they would. Haunted Mansion's not one of those that has kind of a regular refurb like the ones with water, basically Pirates and Splash. Even Big Thunder, they seem to take down a lot. Haunted Mansion, they don't really, unless they're adding something to it, which they do a lot. But right now, it's so, the attraction is mostly new, I feel like now. They've added so much. Excuse me. Kathy says their plan, now this is talking about Pandora and Animal Kingdom again, their plan was to go immediately to River Journey and Fast Pass Flight of Passage for about an hour and a half later. Safari about 11. Everest after lunch. Yeah, that's actually pretty close to what we're recommending. Now, the only thing I see in there is if you go immediately to River Journey, you're probably going to have an hour to kill before you get on Flight of Passage because it shouldn't be more than a 15 or 20 minute wait, even if you're slow walkers if you get there at park opening. So you might just have some time. But if you want to explore Pandora, which by the looks of it, we probably will. It looks beautiful. So, but other than that, yeah, that seems like a great plan. And then in between Flight of Passage and Safari, I would say you could go do the Dinoland stuff. If you want, Dinosaur, Primeval World, things like that. We think I did a video on YouTube explaining the traffic patterns in Animal Kingdom and how we think they're going to change with Pandora. And we really think that, and there will be more of those coming. I get asked that a lot, and I'm going to do either the Magic Kingdom or Epcot next. I wanted to do it this week, but this isn't supposed to be my Facebook Live week. This is normally Angela's, but she is, and yeah, for all of you watching now, Angela's going to be in Walt Disney World next week. She's hoping to do a Facebook Live from the parks, so that's why we switched. So watch out for that next week. But because I'm not doing my Facebook Live next week, I might try to do another map video. But anyway, what we think is going to happen is that Dinoland will be pretty empty in the mornings because everybody will either go to Pandora to do those attractions, to Africa to do the safari, and then some will peel off and do Everest. I really don't think a lot of people are going to go towards Dinosaur. So if you do, even by 10, 11 in the morning, I don't think people are going to still be in Dinoland, and I will hold all of my comments on what I think about Dinoland because I don't particularly like it. Jean asked about whether there was still the shooting of hippos on Jungle Cruise, or was that just on her boat? No, I don't think they, I feel like they haven't been doing that for a while. What I seem to see a lot now is where they pull the gun out and go, shoo hippos with the gun instead of actually shooting at them. I feel like I might have seen, someone like fake shoot into the air or something before, but that could have also been years ago. Trips get mangled in my mind nowadays. Jennifer asked if lines typically spike before refurb closing, hoping to ride Splash Mountain on August 27th without a fast pass. No, not really. The only reason they would, and I mean, it's possible where you're gonna get anybody that's there for a few days and knows the refurb is coming. Maybe is obviously going to try to ride it before that. Might get a few locals mixed in that want to ride it, but Splash Mountain's been there for so long, and it's coming back. So I don't think locals will really flood it. Pun not intended there. But if it was going away forever, then yeah, the locals would be all over it. But the thing is that I don't think a lot of people are going to know about it. Disney, I mean, they put on their website and everything that it's coming, but we've found consistently that a lot of people in the parks just don't really plan ahead. It's, one of the things we keep trying to do is talk people into planning ahead, and people just don't always want to do that. So there's still going to be a lot of people that just don't know it's coming. So obviously they're not going to try to ride it. So maybe they'll be a little higher, but they're definitely not going to go crazy. Yeah, I see Becca asked, and I saw somebody else there answer about where is Animal Kingdom in Pandora? Where in Animal Kingdom is Pandora? It's where Camp Mini Mickey used to be, if you're familiar with that. It's looking at a map of Animal Kingdom, it's the bottom left, kind of like near the entrance. So, if you're looking at the map of Animal Kingdom, Tree of Life, Africa would be up here, Pandora would be down here. So you're going to go in and you're going to turn left. Yeah, if you find Tiffin's on the map, Tiffin's is on the path to where Pandora will be. Matthew Rebecca asked if I live close to Walt Disney World. I do not. I live in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. Yes, like the office. So, and it is, cloudy. So. Lori asked why fast passes are available when a ride is going down. They shouldn't be. If an attraction is going under scheduled refurbishment, they will stop the fast passes for it. If you try to look, it will say on there that this ride is not available during this time, or it's closed during this time, something like that. That's actually sometimes how we find out about refurbishments before Disney announces them is if it's within the 60-day window, there just won't be a schedule. Or sometimes even if you look on the website farther out, they just won't list hours for it. So sometimes that's a way that we actually find it. So there shouldn't be. If there are, it might mean that it's not going to be under refurbishment. All right, let's see. All right, we also, Laura this morning asked about fireworks for October and why she wasn't seeing any. There could be two reasons. It kind of depends on the fireworks. The Star Wars fireworks at Hollywood Studios, they just don't put out the schedule all that far in advance. It tends to only be, a couple of months to a couple of weeks in some cases. So if you're not seeing those and you think you should be, don't panic on those for October. They may not be out till the summer. For Magic Kingdom ones, if you're not seeing them on the October schedule, it's probably because of the Halloween parties. Whenever there is a Halloween party, the park officially closes at 7 p.m. Only people with a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party ticket can stay past 7 p.m. The fireworks do happen. They have the Hallowishes fireworks, which are fantastic, but you need the ticket for the Halloween party itself to see them. Any day where there is not a Halloween party, they will have the normal fireworks, which I almost said wishes, but it won't be wishes by then. Unfortunately, it will be something new, which, I say unfortunately because I love wishes, not that I think the new show will be bad. I don't know anything about the new show yet. I also can't remember its name off the top of my head, so. Cassie asked, speaking of Not So Scary Halloween Party, when will they release tickets to purchase? I don't know. They just released the dates last week, so I don't feel like it's all that long before they release the tickets. Definitely within the next month. But there's a little bit of time. The party starts so early this year. August 25th, the first Halloween party is. But we still have, 4 months. It's not April 25th. So we have over 4 months yet. I wouldn't panic. They're not going to sell out more than a few days in most cases if they do sell out. The Halloween one is the only one that tends to sell out farther in advance, and even that, it's only a few weeks. So no rush on buying those, but I imagine it will be within the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Kathy asked if we need to use all 3 fast passes before you can book more. Not necessarily. Yes and no. You need to use all the fast passes that you booked in advance. It can be up to 3, but it doesn't necessarily have to be 3. So, for instance, in Epcot, the top tier fast passes, you can only pick 1 from this group, and it is Frozen and Soarin' and Test Track and other stuff that I'm forgetting right now. But most people pick 1 of those 3. And then your other 2 fast passes can be, anything else. You could only pick 1 fast pass if you wanted to. If you just weren't interested in getting a fast pass for Spaceship Earth or Journey into Imagination, you could only pick 1 if you wanted to. Then when that one is done, you can pick another one, and then there is no more tier restrictions. So you can get one for Test Track. Then as soon as you use it, you can get one for Soarin'. If you pick 3 ahead of time, then yes, you have to use all 3, and on your 3rd one. Now, when I say as soon as you use it, I mean as soon as you use it. Once you tap that outer Mickey head with your Magic Band and get into the line, you can go immediately on the app and book another Fast Pass. So that's a good way to kill a little bit of time in line, is to go on and look and see what's available. Now, of course, it all depends on what's available. But yes, you need to have used all of the fast passes that you have booked in advance. Matthew and Rebecca asked if they had announced when Mickey's Halloween party will be in Disneyland. They have not yet. But they should be. We're usually pretty good at determining what days they're going to be. They tend to be very similar to the days from last year. So Your touring plans hopefully won't really get messed up, but those should be out pretty much any time. David asked if I had a 4-day ticket, would I even go to Hollywood Studios right now? What if I had a 5-day? A lot of it just, the thing with Hollywood Studios is that, yeah, there's not a lot to do with the Toy Story and Star Wars constructions. There's not a lot of attractions. There weren't, frankly, a lot of attractions there before. But the attractions that are there are some really good ones. I mean, Toy Story Mania, Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, Star Tours are all very good attractions. And they have some of the better shows. I really like the Frozen sing-along. As sick as I am of those songs. I have an 8-year-old daughter. You know, it's the sing-along is enjoyable. Indiana Stunt Show is fine. There's Beauty and the Beast is pretty good. So, I mean, it all kind of depends on how much you like those. If you have a park hopper ticket, I would definitely say yes. Go in the morning, ride all the top stuff, get fast passes for whatever park you plan on going to in the afternoon, and then ditch Hollywood Studios at lunch. If you don't have the park hopper, that's where it gets real tricky. If you really like, you know, Tower of Terror is one of my top attractions. When I eventually get around to my top 5, you know, rides in Disney World, it will be number 2, I think, if I remember right. Haunted Mansion is always number 1. Sorry, but I love Tower of Terror. My wife, it's her favorite attraction, so we almost always end up at Hollywood Studios. A lot of it for that. My daughter is a roller coaster fiend, so she loves Rock and Roller Coaster. You know, we would probably still go and maybe just leave like mid-afternoon, or leave and go back to your hotel for a little while and come back for the fireworks at night or Fantasmic. There's always a plan. It's hard for me to say don't go because it does have some good stuff in it. It's just not necessarily a full day's worth of stuff. Sean pointed out Magic Kingdom is happily ever after. I almost said that, but it sounded so cliche that I thought, no, that can't possibly be it. But it is. Sue asked about Disney's Uber knockoff. Yeah, this is an interesting story that came out where Disney is, and it was pitched as an Uber, not as like an Uber style ride. Although to me it sounds kind of just like a taxi service. Because it's not, you know, just anybody driving the cars. It's Disney employees, which obviously for Disney they're not going to let, you know, just anybody drive their guests around. I haven't heard much more other than that they're considering it or testing. I don't think they're up to testing yet. But, you know, it makes a lot of sense. You can, you know, it's a pretty easy way to make money. It's... It won't be super expensive, I doubt. I mean, you're probably looking, you know, if you get a taxi, I've taken taxis and Ubers around Disney World before. It's a great way to get from hotel to hotel. Or, you know, if you're staying off site and planning on drinking at dinner, as I usually am, it's nice to have a taxi or an Uber. And, you know, I mean, you're talking $10 each way. So for the people, it's not that bad. It's way more convenient than a lot of their public transportation options. And Disney could make a pretty good amount of money on it. So it's smart, but no, I don't know much more than that. Chris asked if you could cancel a fast pass to then book another one. No. You have to use it. If you cancel it, I believe you have to wait until the time window is up, is I think how it works. There used to be a glitch, actually, where you just couldn't get another fast pass if you no-showed or canceled. I think they fixed that. But no, you can't just cancel your last couple and then book another one, unfortunately. Scott says, let's see, they were given 8 complimentary single-day passes. Wow. That must have been a lot of difficulties, and it stinks. They're going down and wanting to give the pass to his wife's parents. He asked if they could each take 4 single-day passes and upgrade to an annual pass. I don't know. I think so. I'm not real sure on that. I know you could take a 4-day pass and upgrade. 4 single days, I'm not entirely sure, but I think you can. It may take a little bit of time because guest services, it always just depends on how knowledgeable the person is that you get. Even simple upgrades of tickets and annual passes, I've had to go through 2 or 3 people sometimes who just can't quite figure out how it works. So, you may have to be a little persistent, maybe talk to a guest services manager, but I would think I don't see why it wouldn't be possible necessarily. Brenda asked if tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary are refundable. I don't believe they are. I think, you can, if the weather is real bad or something else, I know there are lots of people that will go to guest services complaining, and, sometimes I'm sure they get some stuff, but strictly speaking, they are not. Yeah, and that's, if it's pouring rain when you're at the party, like when you're at the parks, it's just, you just got to stick on a poncho and deal with it, unfortunately. It's one of the reasons that a lot of times we recommend not buying the tickets too far in advance, because at least, my blog post about the best parties to go to will be coming at least within the next few weeks. I got sidetracked by another project, but you can go back, you can find the one from last year and see where, how far in advance all the parties sold out I have in there. And they don't sell out very often. Like I said, the Halloween one sold out, I think it's like 2 weeks in advance. Most of the others, you're talking 2 or 3 days if they sell out at all. A lot of them, if they do, it's the day before or the day of. So, if you're going to be there for a week, it's wait until you're inside that 10-day weather window period, so you can at least maybe get an idea of what the weather is going to be. Because they do, especially like when you're talking Christmas party into December, they can be cold, at least Florida cold, 40s. So wait until you're a couple days out, and then buy it if the weather looks nice, is probably what. Jean says she's never been brave enough for Rock and Roller Coaster. Yeah, my 8-year-old is, she's something. She likes more roller coasters than most adults, I think. So, but that one is, Rock and Roller Coaster is not too bad, actually. It's pretty smooth. Because you're inside, you don't really, there is an inversion. There's a loop in there. But you honestly don't really even notice it that much because you're inside, it's kind of dark, everything's happening. So if for some reason you ever wanted to try a looping roller coaster, it's probably one of the better ones to do. But yeah, I understand. It's intense. Kelly mentioned about free dining at Disney. I said this before, the last couple of years it's been right around April 25th, 26th, 27th, so I would expect that. Somebody else said, the Diz is saying that it will be coming out on Monday, which is the 25th, so I would think next week sounds pretty good. And get on, if you want the free dining promotion for the fall, which is what it'll be September into October, jump on it the day it comes out if you can. Touring Plans, if you're a Touring Plan subscriber and have a trip set up, you will get a notification when it does come out. Otherwise, just pay attention to any Disney site on the internet will post it, because they only set aside a certain number of rooms at each resort for each promotion. So if that's what you want, jump on it as soon as you can. Excuse me. Keith asked about Pandora because it's opening May 27th and they leave on May 24th. Is there a chance you'll see it? Yes. The annual pass previews actually start May 13th. The cast member preview, I believe, is May 22nd, I think, somewhere around there, which means it is expected to be open and fully operational by, and yes, every time I say fully operational, I think of the Death Star. But it is expected to be fully open by the annual pass preview May 13th. So They will almost definitely be doing what Disney refers to as soft openings, which soft opening in Disney parlance is just it's testing pretty much. They will open that section of the park, they will open the attractions, but they're not officially open. So they may only be open for a couple hours, and then they may close again. So it's come and go. So I would say there's a 100% chance that they will be doing soft openings during your trip. Pay attention to Twitter tends to be the best one for that. Touring Plans, along with other Disney people, will be posting when soft openings happen. So especially if you're in the Animal Kingdom, start poking around, ask cast members. Most of the time cast members will tell you that, yeah, we're planning a soft opening later today. Sometimes they'll tell you the time. If you're real lucky, most of the times they'll just tell you today, and you can kind of keep checking back. Let's see, Tom says I should voice Genie in the live-action Aladdin. I'd love to. I talk much, much slower than Robin Williams does, though. So, I'm not sure I can meet his performance. Scott asked if ADR openings due to cancel, and I'll explain what ADR means in just a second. Due to cancellations, updated real time on the My Disney Experience app. I believe they are. They used to be anyway. ADRs is a kind of a Disney fan parlance for advanced dining reservations, which Disney doesn't actually call them that anymore. They just call them dining reservations now. But ADR has stuck around as an acronym. So if someone cancels, yes, I believe My Disney Experience, the official Disney app, updates immediately. I don't know for sure. There was at one point a lot of sort of trading of dining reservations where people would say, hey, I have this one for Cinderella's Royal Table. I'm going to cancel it. If anybody wants it, jump on right now. So I know it used to show immediately. Because of that, I wouldn't be shocked if Disney put a buffer in there. But at one point at least it was immediate. If you're looking for a reservation, I'd like to plug the Touring Plans Dining Reservation Finder, which you put in your information, what you want, what time, and then we will text or email you with a link to make the reservation. It's not a perfect system because we have to do it a very specific way to avoid being shut down by Disney. But it is a very good system. I've used it for dining reservations for my summer trip already, and it's pretty cool. Christy asked about dining reservations during Mickey's Not So Scary. You can get a dining reservation during the parties, whether you have a ticket or not. I've actually had a reservation for a dessert party in Tomorrowland before during a Christmas party without realizing it was during a Christmas party and then having to cancel it later once I realized because I didn't have a ticket for it. In fact, what I do a lot, if I'm in the Magic Kingdom during a party time but not planning on going to the party, I will make a late dinner reservation at 6:30, 7 o'clock, go in and eat. That way I can kind of stay in the, can be at the park later without breaking the rules against non-party guests staying past 7. And then after we're done, we take a slow stroll towards the front. We can't ride anything or anything like that, but that's okay. But you should be able to still book dining reservations whether you have a party ticket or not. Elizabeth asked when the best time to book her December 24th vacation. She wants to stay at Pop Century. Does it fill up? I mean, it can. Generally, what we tell people is to book the vacation as soon as you can. If it's a package, meaning you have the hotel and the tickets combined, you have to put down a deposit. I think it's either $200 or $250 deposit, but it is refundable up until, I believe it's 60 days. It's been a few years since I was a travel agent, as you can tell. I don't remember these cutoffs. Until I think it's 60 days before you arrive, it's still refundable. If you book separately, where you only book what's called a room-only reservation, only the hotel, there is no deposit at all. So you can always do that and then change it around later, but there's no real reason to wait, if you don't have to. All right, guys, I should be coming up right on an hour here, and I think Facebook cuts me off at an hour, so I don't really want to cut off mid-sentence. I have done that before. I apologize for anybody that any questions that I missed. I will be back in a few weeks doing this again. Remember, Angela will be live in Walt Disney World, hopefully. Next week, she'll be doing some stuff from there. Go to YouTube, watch our videos. Go to Zazzle, buy some shirts. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Be excellent to each other.